Took my guy over there, put him up on the shelf, and he got flopping. It's been a while since I've done this. I've had videos on here, but I haven't done my real thought for the day, or is that just prognosticated for a while. You're gonna have to excuse me, but excuse me. This is Thought for the Day, 5/3 at 11:21 p.m. in 21:30, 39 minutes. I'll be 75. May the 4th is my birthday. And I don't mind telling you, it blows my mind. There's a good friend of mine here, a year or so back, nice lady. She lived into her 90s. And the last words she spoke was, "Where have all the years gone?" Well, I'm not 90, but I will be 75 in just a little less than an hour. And where have all the years gone? It's an amazing thing. Just yesterday, I'm just a young punk running around, doing my thing. And I'm an old punk pretty well, running around doing my thing now, but 75 is mind-boggling. I should live another 5 years. I'd be 80. I can't think of it. I know right off the top of my head that's 80. They're out there. Obviously there are people that I know that are that age. But, this is not one of my bigger days. I remember vividly. I was cooking right along in my 40s. I always had a theory. Remember when I was 20, and I kept thinking, well, if I live this long, I'll be 40. 40 ain't nothing. Hey, everybody lives to be 40. I see people out there, they're 40 years old, who are doing all right. You get to 30, and you say, well, 60, probably all right. 60, yeah. 40, 80. I don't know that many people who live to 80. And then I turned 50. And my theory just went in the tank. Because, of course, if I lived that long again, I'd be 100. I never personally knew anybody who lived to be 100. Well, relative to 50, I'm halfway there now. Whew. Where have all the years gone? Well, doing all right. I really can't complain. My dialysis is doing fine. I'm not going to go out and win any foot races with anybody, but all in all, I do all right. I do half an hour on the treadmill 3-4 days a week. So, doing good. All in all, pretty good health. But, just a little over another 30 minutes, I'm going to be 75. Don't mind telling you. I don't like the idea. Because, this time next year I'll be 76. But, doing all right. We're getting ready. We're getting ourselves fixed up to go to Siegel North. I'm looking forward to it. I feel sorry for my friends and associates down here at Siegel South. We are in a drought. We're in a serious drought. I want to show you something if I can find it here. I made a picture. Now, all you folks at Siegel North, You familiar with where I come from? You familiar with the Allegheny River? Starts off over there in northern Pennsylvania, winds up around Port Allegheny through Olean down to Salamanca, and then goes on down to Pittsburgh. That thing's maybe 250 miles long. It's not big. It's a big river. I mean, it's one of the major rivers in the United States because it feeds the Ohio, which feeds Mississippi. The Allegheny and the Monongahela, you know, they make the Ohio River, which is one of your major rivers. The Ohio and the Missouri, you know, are the main feeders into the Mississippi. So the watershed and everything, you know, the whole central part of the United States, and that includes the Allegheny, which runs through, you know, Salamanca, Olean, pretty good sized river. We got a river down here in Texas called the Trinity. We got a lot of rivers. We got the Brazos and the Trinity and the Pecos and a bunch of rivers. And they're long rivers, longer than the Allegheny, with probably bigger watersheds. Now, they're not as efficient watersheds in that it's prairie, it's open prairie. But as far as, you know, square miles of land are concerned, the Trinity, which I'm going to use here as an example, has a bigger watershed than the Allegheny River. And when it's running like it should, it's like the Allegheny. I got a picture right here I want to show you. And this is the Trinity River now, about, I think from where this picture was taken, it's about 350 miles down to Galveston Bay, and that's where Trinity River goes into the Gulf. So you can imagine how much water they're getting out of the Trinity River. Let's see if I can get this over there. Yeah. Try to hold that thing steady and let you get a little perspective on that. I mean, Little Valley Creek has got that much water in it. And that river right there probably has what little trickle you see there. What is it? Maybe 20 feet wide, something like that. A few inches deep. That thing has a watershed north of it where you see this picture. Probably 200 miles, at least 150. And that's all the water that's coming out of that watershed into the Trinity River. And that, like I say, from this point where you see this, this underneath this bridge, I know it's at least another 350 miles on down to the coast, down to the Gulf of Mexico. So that will give you some idea how short on water we are. I mean, it is dry. I know that Jim Kersey out there in California, living up there in Northern California, and then the folks in California are, you know, they're dry too, because of the snowpack up in the mountains hasn't been what it should be. So they're not getting the water they should. But boy, they're no drier than us. I mean, it is dry. We are in a severe, there's a chart here. Let me see, hang on, see if I can find this too, without knocking my camera over. Hang on, let me see, get the telegram. Says desperation grows as the drought tightens grip. That says desperation, and that's what they're dealing with. I understand up in Lubbock that they can no longer use a reservoir. They've had to go to wells. And let's see if I can find this thing here. I probably can't. I spent 10 minutes thumbing through this bloody paper trying to, there it is. Okay. Here is a colored chart of Texas. And of course, you'll see up in the panhandle, it's almost black. And that means, you know, they just don't have any water. Down here in the southern part of the state, black. This orange is severe, dramatic. You know, you go from no water to severe, dramatic. Anyway, we're out of water. And you've heard me put forth the prospect that we need to get out on the Gulf Coast and start setting up desalination stations, and they need to do it. And our governor, Mr. Perry, is out thumping his chest. Toyota is moving their national headquarters over here to Plano, suburb of Dallas, and that's nice. A few thousand more jobs. But I wonder if he considers that the few thousand jobs are going to bring a few thousand families, which will probably increase the population over there, and that population is going to want access to this depleted water, and they're not doing a thing about it. Now, I know they're just sitting around going, I hope it rains, I hope it rains, I hope it rains. It's been 5 years now. And it's, sprinkle every now and then, maybe a tornado off someplace. But as far as, good, plentiful reservoir filling range, we haven't had it. This Dorf is out trying to bring more people into the state. Thank heavens he is not running for governor again. And boy, all you people get ready out there, because I think he plans on running for president. What a disaster. Oof. Anyway, we're dry. Gonna mow in the morning. My yard looks like the Gobi Desert. I have grass out there, this deep. It is, and it's just in large portions of it are just as brown on top. It's still growing underneath the green. It's growing. I'm gonna go out and nip off the brown in the morning. But boy, I need water on my yard. The weeds are even dying. Let me see. I get out the cue cards here. See what I got. Yeah. I want to say this business in the Ukraine and the way that Obama is managing it. As far as I'm concerned, he's really only doing the only thing he can. Because Putin, I think of Putin. He's a dictatorial, bullheaded, evil eye. Did you ever see that when he looks into the camera, But if you think about it from the Russians' point of view, he's a patriot. When the old Soviet Union fell apart, it hurt him. He was part of the KGB, intelligence over there. And sometime here in the last couple of years, he said that the most dramatic thing that happened in the 20th century was the dissolution or the falling apart of the Soviet Union. So, if you look at it from that point of view, he's out there trying to put it back together. I don't know if that's good or bad for us. Actually, I'm going to tell you what. For my recollection of the way there was a lot less hooliganism going on in the world when the Soviet Union was over there and they were controlling their sphere of influence, and the United States was over here and we were controlling our sphere of influence. We didn't have near the problems. Now, of course, we always lived with the specter that some idiot over there would punch a button and vaporize us all. And likewise, we do the same thing. But I can understand why Putin's doing what he's doing in the Ukraine. I'm not saying he's right, but I understand why he's doing it. Let's see what I got here. Taking van down. Oh yeah. We've got a 05 Town and Country minivan. It's a nice vehicle. We've had it since it was essentially new. It's got 160,000 miles on it. Runs like a Singer sewing machine. Uses no oil. It's just a good vehicle. We took it, I don't know where we got in the thing, but overnight, the headliner in the front where it comes up and attaches to the windshield. We get in that thing one day and it's down here in front of our eyes. push it up, see where you're going. So we've got a Latino guy down here that does upholstery for cars and chairs and stuff. Took it down to him. $150. Put a new headliner in it. Looks good as new. I mean, really neat. In fact, before we go back to Siegel North, we're going to have, I'm sure you all experienced this, you know, the headlights on a car, they're plastic, what they call the bezels, you know, that's that plastic housing, you know, that you put a bulb in there and the light shines up. Well, they turn into milky looking. It looks like the bottom of a milk bottle. Okay, we're going to have new bezels put in. They ain't giving them away for nothing, but the car will look a lot better, and of course they'll shed a lot more light too. Boy, it's been getting bad. You drive down the road with those milky bezels, you know, you go 35 miles an hour at night, and you're overdriving your headlights, so it'll be a good thing to get that fixed. About time, what time? What have I got here? Okay, and there's the headliner. Did Obama lie? Oh yeah. Did Obama lie about Benghazi? Boy, I don't know. I like well, he's Democrat, and you know I'm a Democrat. And in the general scheme of things, Democrats can do no wrong, which is not really a true statement. It's just that the breed of Republicans we have out there now at this particular time, I guess if the Democrats ran a chimpanzee, I'd vote for them. There was an article about Theodore Roosevelt, and Teddy Roosevelt was a Republican, good Republican. He was such a good Republican when the Republicans wouldn't nominate him, he went out and started his own party called the Bull Moose Party. But with some of the things that Teddy Roosevelt did was, as a Republican, you know, you'd think that he would be on the side of big business. If there was a monopoly out there as a good Republican, hey, you know, it's a good deal, got a monopoly. Well, they called them trusts in those days. Robber barons trusts, you know. Yeah, there was Carnegie and Rockefeller and, I can't think of the guy who Rubber, Firestone. But there were a group of guys that controlled about, you know, 90% of the nation's wealth at the turn of the last century, turn of what would be the 19th, 20th century. And Roosevelt, as a Republican, he busted those trusts up. He took Standard Oil, which was Rockefeller, and made them break it up into a bunch of little other companies so that the competition would be better. This is what a Democrat does. I think he installed or opened up or reserved more national parks than any other president. He was he looked out for our natural resources. That's usually what a good Democrat does. Republican, you know, hey, cut them trees down, dig that coal, you know, to hell with the environment, you know, go get it. Not Teddy. He didn't do that. Well, you know, if Teddy was a Republican, now they'd throw him out of the party. I mean, they wouldn't allow him in. In fact, I think Ronald Reagan was a Republican. Now they throw him out of the party, and they thump their chests and wail and moan about how great Ronnie was. But actually, if you went back and examined his policies and what he did, he raised taxes. You know, they'd have hung him too. So I would vote. I'm afraid that Hillary runs, I'll vote for her. Joe Biden runs, Hillary doesn't run, I'll vote for him. I want a progressive Democrat in there. I want the regulations put back on Wall Street. I want, if we can, figure out a way to perhaps bring some of the jobs back from the Pacific Rim. I don't believe the Republicans will ever do it. I think that they'll privatize Social Security. They'll take and turn Medicare into a voucher system. I mean, it's nuts. And at my age, 75? Yeah, I want my Social Security in the stock market. Wouldn't that have been great back in '08? That would have been a talk about a debacle. You know, when everything just went in the tank. So I'll vote Democrat no matter what. See what else I got here. Putin's a patriot or cold-blooded authoritarian. He's both. He's both. And I fully expect before it's over with that he will roll the Ukraine in its entirety back into the old Russian, what do they call it? Russian Federation, they call it now. Might as well be the Soviet Union, but I suspect he will, and I think that we need to butt out. It would be the same situation if Yahoo Perry down here, remember, a year or two back, he's running for president and talking about seceding from the Union. If you've ever seen a conflict of interest there, but the principle's the same. If Texas seceded, then I would expect the other 49 states to, come down on us like, you know what, and roll it back into the United States. And hey, let's face it, you check your history. I mean, Ukraine generally has been under the influence of it. It hasn't always been part of the Soviet Union or Tsarist Russia, but it's always been under their, we'll say, in their sphere of influence, and it's probably going to be again. What have I got here? I've been listening to Michael Savage. Yeah. Boy, all my left-wing friends are going to be they're going to be astounded with this, but Michael Savage came on the radio down here and took, what the heck was his? It's a typical right-wing talk radio. We had a guy, he's on Fox News. What in the heck is his name? It's unimportant, really. But anyway, they bounced him off and put Michael Savage on. And if any of you listen to, he is just as hardcore right-winger. I mean, he hates Obama, hates the Democrats. There's a bunch of communists. But boy, every now and then I gotta admit, he's more objective than the average bear. I'd say maybe about 20% of the time I'll be driving along, I go to dialysis, and then when I get out of dialysis, my radio comes onto the station. There's old Michael Savage, doing his thing. And I hate to admit it, but I'd say probably 20-25% of the time, I'm going, oh, the man's right. And he's not necessarily talking politics, right wing, left wing. He's just pontificating. And the guy's pretty good, and he's got a big audience. And I listen to him. What the flip? Oh, yeah. Boy, I put a video. This rancher out in Nevada that there's public lands. I guess 50% of the United States is owned by the government land management, and they call them public lands, and they let ranchers run their cattle on these things, and they pay a fee. And it's just basically open range. You pay your fee, hey, there go your cows. Well, this cat, I can't think of his name. I didn't write it down here. But I ran a video of him going after the Democrat leader of the House. I can't think of his name either. I didn't write it down here. And at 75, names get away. But this guy out in Nevada was up on his rostrum there with an American flag around the front, talking about, what injustice was being done to him because they came out and they started taking some of his cattle. He owed $1 million. Maybe more, maybe less, but it was $1 million something. in fees. He'd had his cattle on there and hadn't paid any since back in the 90s. And this cat is bellering and bawling, and you got your right-wing nutcases out there with their AR-15s, you know, slung over their shoulder, going after the land management guys who had come out to collect the money or to take the guy's cattle. And the guy's he's got no grounds to stand on. I mean, I understand he thinks it's unconstitutional to have taxes and whatnot, but I can look it up in the Constitution. I can't tell you right here off the top of my head, but it is in the Constitution that the government can levy taxes and fees. And he didn't pay his. The other ranchers around him did, but he didn't. And boy, he thinks he's being put upon. Harry Reid. Boy, going after Harry Reid said that's a big plot that the Chinese communists are coming over and they're buying up that land and they're taking this guy's open range and they're going to make it into a solar energy thing, and the Chinese are going to be running it and whatnot. I think it's just hogwash. Although I have heard that the Chinese are investing in a big solar panel facility out there. Now, whether it's on this guy's particular piece of ground, I don't know. But if it is, he hadn't paid what he owed. So, you know, if they come in there, you know, he's got no grounds for complaint. Anyway. Got to put a new person on my list. Getting ready to go north. Join the rebels and see the north. That's what I always say. But I noticed that Ray Marshall came on to my list, so I'm going to put her on. I think she'll probably, if I put this on Facebook, she'll probably watch it. And I know Ray from back when I was in school. Boy, it's been a long time since I was in school. I don't spell her name right. And, Lord, let me see. 50 years? Lord Almighty, almost 60. Yeah. Someplace between 55 and 60 years. Heavens to Betsy. But anyway, haven't done this in a while, and I thought I'd better get on and do it. I'll try to be a little better. Me and Ma, we took a field trip today, me and Tiana. Went down, saw my brother-in-law. We took some pictures of him. You see those on my site. Nice fella. JT's a good man. And he'll probably watch this. So hi, JT. In fact, I'm going to put JT on my list. You bet. I'm sure that he's hooked up on Facebook, and he'll be doing it. JT Anderson. Yeah, he'll know what it is. Anywho, it's dry. We should be at Siegel North in about 4.5 weeks. I will miss my home here at Siegel South, but boy, I'm looking forward to being up there because it's getting hot. It was 94 today. Dang, 94. I know it's supposed to be tomorrow. It might not be that hot, but it's not going to get cooler on a constant basis. It's 94 today. If it goes to 82 tomorrow, but it'll be within 2 weeks. I got a thermometer in my garage out here, and it's 4 feet off the ground in the shade. That's how you get the official temperature. And that sucker was on 94 today. And I'll go out there and look at it within the next 2 weeks, and it'll be 100, 102, 105. And then the temperature will range from 95 to 105 into September. With that in mind, I can hardly wait to get to Siegel North. Boy, I mean, those summer days, 77, Sun just shining, no wispy clouds going by. I'm looking forward to it. So you guys up there saved me a place at the table. I'm gonna do my sign off. JT, hope you watch this. That's my brother-in-law. He's a fine fella. He's a little older than me. I think he's a year older than me. Wouldn't wish it on a dog, but I guess I'll get there. But then, of course, he'll be a year older. He ain't gonna catch him. John Zimbardi. I'm thinking probably you either on the way or getting packed up to go. See you there, guy. Cooter. Went up to Cooter's today and spent about an hour and a half just passing the time of day, gossiping about people. Cooter is a talented fella. Boy, I mean, I've never seen anybody that can take engine parts, just got a room full of engine parts, and make a motor that works. I mean, you know, cylinders from here, valves from there, you know, crankhead lifters for the push rods. I mean, just random stuff out of different. Of course, you got to have the same horsepower engine, but just stuff. Oh, hey, he cleans it all up, brushes it off with that gasoline. Looks new, man. New motor. Smart man. Crystal, I'll still sell you. They ain't paying you enough. You need a good union. I know how that'd go over. My sons, Kyle and Carl. Kyle, come see me, man. Haven't been around a while. Have talked to you on the phone a time or two, but I need a little, I'm a hands-on kind of guy. I need some up and close there. Tracy, top day to you. I know you watch every one of these. I appreciate that. Heights and Raider, I tell you what, my friends on the tube here, Heights and Raider went to Moscow. I don't know, a couple of weeks ago now, I guess. Boy, I'd like to do that. I'm a wannabe history buff. And there's a lot of history in Eastern Europe and that part of the world that we don't get taught. We don't understand their attitudes because they don't teach us to it in history class. Well, not anymore anyway. They did kind of when we were young a little bit, but not much. So, good for you, Dick. Richard, I wish I could have gone there. Ike, I saw that fish you caught. Begging. Looks like skeeters ain't getting you. Stenta, I'm glad the storms didn't blow you away. I'll probably call you tomorrow. Daryl Mackey. Haven't talked to up to David for a couple of weeks. The last time I called, I got Debbie, and they had David in a halfway house up in Buffalo, where they could just haul him across the street and do whatever it was they were doing to him at Roswell Park. I don't know if this is good or bad. I need to call up there and find out, and then give you an update. Tyler, hope you're having a good one. I know that you're down there in Waco working, living in Hillsboro. Carl in Bradford. Ain't coming, Carl. I got a chair in Jamestown. I ain't knocking anybody, but Jamestown's only 15 miles down the road. And it'll just be a better thing for me, so won't see you this year. I don't mean I won't be up there next year, providing everything don't have some kind of thrombosis. 75 for goodness sakes. That'll probably be all right. Jim Kersey, top of the day to you. See you online there quite a bit. And Ray Marshall, if you watch this, yeah, top of the day to you. I'm hoping that life has been good to you, and that we'll probably stay in touch on that online. Anyway, it's dry. I don't see any rain in the forecast, at least for a week. And if you remember, I told you here a while back, someday we'll have to take up and reach and get that thing in it and turn on that water tap and go, nothing. Hope that doesn't happen. All you folks down here at Siegel South, call your state and federal representatives and let's do something about getting this desalination going, because let's assume that we get 20 inches of rain here in the next 2 months. It's going to get dry again. I mean, it just is. So here we go, desalination. Save me a place at the table up there at Siegel North.